Welcome to BizTV's Beyond the Brand. I'm Kelli Phillips. Today I'm joined by Jocelyn King, the queen of online safety. She's turned her personal story of cybercrime into a global mission to protect others. Stick around, we'll be back with more of BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Known as the queen of online safety, she is a top 10 woman in cybersecurity and the founder and CEO of Smarter Online Safety, where she transforms complex digital security into simple, life-saving survival skills. After turning a devastating personal experience with cybercrime into a global mission to protect others, she now serves as a trusted advisor to Fortune 500 leaders and families alike. Please welcome Jocelyn King. And Jocelyn, before we get into everything that you've been through, I want to give viewers a little background on you. Where did you grow up? What was life like? And how did it lead you to what you are doing today?
Great. Well, I'm a California girl. I grew up in Southern California, and my parents were in entertainment, of all things. So I grew up in the LA, Hollywood area, and Santa Barbara is what I call home. I then had the technology itch, though. I'm a bit of a closet geek and closet nerd, and I wanted to get to Silicon Valley. I was fascinated by how things work, like to take things apart, understand what's in them. So I went to Silicon Valley in the southern San Francisco area and made that my home for the past 25 years. And now I toggle between both. And I am very grateful to my parents for my upbringing because I learned the art of storytelling. And that became a critical skill in being able to take complex topics, everything from AI and hardware and I worked at Intel and other companies working with the CEO, helping to clarify and simplify messages. And without that, I don't think I'd be able to do what I'm doing today.
So did you have a certain event that happened that in your life that led you to cybersecurity?
Unfortunately, yes. I was actually working at Intel, living my best life. I mean, the career that I had wanted my whole life, I was finally hitting. I was working with the CEO of Intel and working on big events and product launches and, just really hitting a great peak in my life. And at that point, and not because of any of that, I was targeted by cybercriminals. And it was devastating, Kelli. I don't wish this on anybody. There are simple hacks that some people have, which, your credit card number is taken and a charge. That's not what happened to me. My husband and I were targeted. We actually had our passwords stolen, our network hacked, our passwords taken, and therefore our security system was able to be bypassed, cameras turned off. We had people break into our home without us knowing it and plant surveillance in our bedroom. We had all of our accounts, passwords leaked. And so I lost $500,000. And my retirement was gone. My 20-year marriage imploded. And under the stress, I lost my health, I lost a promotion, and I thought I was going to lose my mind.
So what are you doing now to help others now that you've gone through that's so devastating?
So that happened almost a decade ago, and I had two choices. I was down on the mat and I could stay down. The Japanese have a saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that at the time, but I got up on that 8th time. I did that by finding some of the best cybersecurity people in our nation, the ones who protect our nuclear submarine codes and the trading floor of Wall Street and some of the top corporations that you and I see the logos of every day. And they not only helped me, but they invited me to come form a cybersecurity startup with them as a co-founder, which I did. So I got to work in the trenches, side by side, on the dark web with the people who help the CIA take down international criminals. And I got to understand the business of cybercrime, and it is a business. And I learned the hacker's playbook. I learned what was happening. And even then, it took about 3 years for me to be able to understand from all this complexity what the simple things were that people like you and me and your viewers need to do to stay safe online. And then compounding that with AI, because I was in Silicon Valley, I helped launch the chips that enabled AI and ChatGPT. So I saw this coming 10 years ago. And I said, we need to protect ourselves from this. And so that's why I founded Smarter Online Safety. That's why I have the Smarter Online Safety Show. And my forthcoming book is even called Digital Self-Defense in an AI World, How to Stay Safe and Sane Online, for that very reason, because AI in the hands of cybercriminals is even scarier than at the time what I went through. And I want to help as many people as possible and as many companies as possible stay safe in this crazy time we're living in.
Before we even delve into AI, because that's a topic all in itself, go through some of the simple things that the folks at home should start doing to take care of themselves to not be victims of cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Well, to start with, it's about getting over the fear of it. I mean, look, even people listening to this, they probably have their heart rate has gone up. If they had a blood pressure monitor, it's probably gone up just because we're talking about hackers and cyber crime and cybersecurity. And so the first thing I like to do is tell you why we're so afraid of that. We're afraid of hackers because they dominate the cyber world. They dominate online world. And so they have home team advantage there. And the reason that it's hard for everyday people like us, whether you're a CEO or a celebrity or a credit union or a corporation or whatever, and you're trying to protect yourself, is you can't really see what it is you're trying to protect. I mean, think about it, Kelly. When I say to you, let's help you protect your digital life, you can't really see it.
No.
But when I tell you that just like your home is your castle, your digital home is your digital castle. And I want you to picture that your devices and your accounts are your doors and windows. So you already know how to lock up your home, right? You go room by room, door by door, window by window, and you secure it. And you don't panic when you're doing it.
Right.
But we panic when we're thinking about how to protect our accounts. So just simply write down the top 10 to 12 key accounts that you have and just start there. Start securing, lock those windows. And then your devices are your doors. So step one in my 3-step process is start visualizing this castle of yours. And then your step one is to lock your digital doors and windows.
Locking your digital doors and windows. I'm trying to take this all in, but How does one do that? I mean, for example, we've got our home internet.
Right. Yes.
How do you lock that down?
So let me take, so that's step 2, which I call raise your drawbridge, because your connection to the internet, to the outside world is just like a drawbridge in a castle. You let it down to let people come in and out, to leave and come and go. You want to raise your drawbridge. What do I mean by that? You want to protect it. So most people, even if they use password managers and have high settings and have a unique password for everything, fail the drawbridge test. When was the last time you downloaded the software update for your router and Wi-Fi and changed your password? In my workshops, I've had $100 bill sitting there for anybody who has changed their password and updated their software in the last 30 days. I still have that $100 bill. Nobody can claim it. Even people who work, I have IT directors and IT managers fail this test. So we're leaving ourselves wide open. Why is that important? So I hang out with ethical hackers. These are good guy hackers. They have the same skills as bad guys, but they use them for good. We drove around his neighborhood, and in 15 minutes, he had hacked into 5 neighbors' networks and took screenshots of what he saw, which was what? Their financial statements.
Everything.
One of them had everything, kids' photos, access to the baby monitor, the Ring doorbell. I mean, and it was because they had not, really secured it. They had a password protected network, but they hadn't updated their software. And because when software updates go out, the weaknesses and bugs in them are published. Guess who reads those?
Hackers.
It's not you and me, it's hackers. So they know how to get in for the people who haven't updated it. So your software updates are critical. And then unique passwords are critical. The important thing about unique passwords is it's very simple. 92% of cybersecurity professionals, we use password managers for a reason. They are secure and they give you a unique, unguessable password for every account. 75% of us use either 1Password or Bitwarden. I highly recommend you do that. For the price of a coffee a month, you get you could have one of these password managers create and store and then populate your logins for you so that you can be secure. And if 92% of cybersecurity professionals are using them, you should too.
All right, Jocelyn, we need to take a quick break, but we've got so much more that we need to cover. So stick around. We'll be back with more BizTV right after this. Be sure to scan the QR code on your screen to sign up for BizTV's monthly newsletter, The Biz Beat, where you'll get articles, business news, and columns by BizTV's personalities, all sent directly to your inbox. We're back with Jocelyn King, CEO of Smarter Online Safety. And Jocelyn, we were talking a little bit about how we can protect ourselves. And you had mentioned the password books, where this is a good thing. One of the things that I've always been terrified of is if I use this password book, it's stored up in the cloud, which I can't even fathom what that is, where that is. But won't the hackers have access to the cloud?
It's a great question. So we're talking about password managers like 1Password or Bitwarden. There are others. Those are the two most popular with cybersecurity professionals. So here's the thing, Kelly. I want you to picture like how we store nuclear submarine codes, or nuclear access. It takes 3 people with 3 different keys in order to open it. Mm-hmm. It's a kind of a digital equivalent of that. So if somebody hacked 1Password or Bitwarden, it's not like they're going to download an Excel spreadsheet that has all of your accounts and passwords. Everything's secured separately. So even if they hacked in, they can't piece things together and identify it with you. And that's why cybersecurity professionals trust them. What most people have is an address book entry on their phone or a document called passwords that they put them all in. Mm-hmm. And some people, like I was 10 years ago before I got into cybersecurity, I thought I was very clever. I had a password and I did a variation of it at the end based on whether it was my bank account or Visa. Well, it turns out that we all think the same way. And hackers don't even have to think about it. Their software already is looking for patterns like that and quickly breaks your code. We are not doing any kind of code that can't be hacked.
I feel so stupid. I mean, I'm the one that thinks, okay, if I carry around, the little address books that people used to carry in their purses, well, that's how I've kept my passwords. And you're saying, no, I should go ahead and trust this other. What are some other lies that we're telling ourselves that we are really safe when in essence we're not?
Wow, I love that you said that. I even have a chapter in my book called The Lies We Tell Ourselves and the Myth. Because one of the things is that we think we'll be safer by doing these things ourselves. Mm-hmm. I want you to think of the password managers as a digital equivalent of your address book that you're talking about. And by the way, kudos to you for having that, because that means you don't have 1Password you're reusing. So that's a top tip right there.
But I can't remember.
That's why you want a password manager. So
yeah, I can't remember the password from different sites. So that's why I've always had this.
So it's far better what you're doing than not. However, if you lose it, or if it's stolen, or even worse, what hackers tend to do, if I was with one of my good guy hackers, or if I was next to you in a Starbucks and I wanted, and we were somewhat friends, I would look at getting that, taking a couple screenshots of it, putting it back in your purse, and then later showing you saying, these are your passwords. I'm not going to steal it so that you know it's missing and start changing your passwords. I'm going to want to get a screenshot of it over your shoulder or from one of my security cameras that I've placed in a smoke alarm or something. I can get a screenshot of you sitting on a chair and see what you're reading, or watch what your keystrokes are that you're typing on your phone or laptop. And that's why you want to pre-populate with a password manager. It populates it for you. I can't tell what keystrokes you are typing, and it helps you stay safer. And that's what we need. We need this moat around our digital castle, right? So you want to lock your digital doors and windows. Step 2, you want to raise your drawbridge. So just update your software for your router and for your Wi-Fi. I mean, think about it. Most people a lot of people can't even remember their admin password to the network. And if you asked them, who knows? It's either the Geek Squad guy who installed it, or worse, their teenage daughter's gamer boyfriend. Okay, so
Exactly.
who knows who has access to your thing? So, and I'm not saying that all gamers are hackers, but I will tell you that almost every hacker is a gamer. So you want to be careful.
Okay, we talked a little bit about AI. What do we need to worry ourselves with now that AI, it's here to stay, so we need to get used to it, but there are some steps that we can take to protect ourselves even more.
Yes. So everybody listening to this is eventually, some sooner than later, is going to get a video call or a voice clone call from someone they know and trust. And that could be, you have a college-age child. Guess what? Around spring break, they're actually going to be in Florida or Mexico, but you're going to get a video call as their parent that they've been mugged and their phone was stolen. That's why they're calling on a different number, and they need help. They need you to wire money right away, and it's not your child. Your child is actually on the beach, or in bed, or out dancing, and that video is going to seem so realistic that you won't be able to tell the difference, because it is a replica of your child. You could get it from a parent. Grandparents are getting it from grandkids. I mean, I talk to people almost every day who have given away tens of thousands of dollars to cybercriminals. And it's becoming an epidemic.
How can we protect ourselves?
Well, you have to verify. You have to assume you're going to get it, and always have a little question mark, just saying, I need to double check this. So the ideal thing is that right now, before something happens, you come up with a family passphrase or a company passphrase just for you and your employees who work directly for you, that if you request money or you request any kind of action that involves special access to documents or money, that they have to say this passphrase. This happened with Ferrari. The CFO of Ferrari was being deepfaked supposedly by the CEO. And he was smart enough to say, "Sir, I was in your office yesterday and you recommended a book to me. Please tell me the name of that book." And they had to hang up. So you want that same type of protection in your business and in your family and in your home.
How can you protect a child? I just had our first granddaughter, will be 1 in March. How do we protect her?
Well, one thing you want to do is put all these security protections in place for them. Most of them have some kind of an iPad of some sort. You want to make sure the security settings are turned on high. You want to start educating them. So the older they get, there's 4 age groups for kids in the digital world as far as access. And you want to make them safe. You teach them not to run into the street without looking both ways. You teach them not to take candy from strangers. So you want to do the digital equivalent, which is to make sure they're not going into even Roblox and things like this. Unfortunately, there are 500,000 predators online every single day, 500,000, and they're after our kids. And so you've got to teach them how to be as safe in a digital room as they would be in a real room. And that also means go with them, especially if they're really young. Get used to them having grandma taking an interest in their games and what they're doing. And you need to help them learn how to stay safe in this room the same way you teach them how to be safe when you're out in public.
You have opened my eyes so much, and I'm sure our viewers are sitting at home doing the same thing, going, I've got to find out more. You've got a podcast, you've got books. Tell us about how folks can find all of the information from you.
Sure, Kelly. Well, if you come to Smarter Online Safety, SOS, that's our company, smarteronlinesafety.com, you can get free resources. You can get these tips. You'll get information about the book that is just out, Digital Self-Defense in an AI World, and a lot of resources to help business owners, to help parents, to help college-age kids, to help children. And we want to help as many people as possible stay safe. And thank you so much for letting us help them.
Oh, thank you so much. You've really opened our eyes here today. Jocelyn King, CEO of Smarter Online Safety. Thanks, Jocelyn. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks for watching BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Be sure to subscribe to the BizTV YouTube channel, where you'll find full episodes of this show, fresh BizTV content, and a few surprises each week to help you stay inspired.